Well, good afternoon and welcome to BBRC Britain and England. Well, this week we're going to look at some French phrases and words that have come into the English language over the centuries. Since possibly 1066, when the Norman conquest happened and the Normans invaded England. Well, before that, I'd just like to dedicate this to Philippe, who lives in the town here, along with a number of other French people, which I told him about it in passing a few days ago. So I expect he may well be watching. Hello, Philippe. How are you? Hope you enjoy it. And I hope I pronounced the words properly. Well, as I say, the English language has had a number of influences from abroad over the centuries. And a few weeks ago, I did look at some influences from America. There are some Latin words, French words, German words, Greek words, and probably a few others over the centuries, and various influences. Well, if we go back far enough to 1066, as I say, some vocabulary over centuries has gradually become shared with the French. Now, 1066 was the key year when the Normans invaded England. We started using French completely, so quite surprising to many people, I should think. Well, but actually, having said that, the English language is actually based on a Germanic language. Would you believe that? Well, now this French invasion in 1066, the Norman conquest, it actually was when things changed over to French completely. And, it was the date when French language started being used in English more and more. Of course, we've adopted many French words in the country more recently, and of course, so it's not all to do with Europe. It's not since 1971 or 1973 or 1956, I think it was the Treaty of Rome. Anyway, following the conquest, England was ruled by the Normans, who spoke a northern form of the Old French known as Anglo-Norman French. While under the subsequent invasion, Anglo-Norman French began to influence the language of administration, law, and culture in England. So it influenced our language greatly, probably and continuously over the centuries. So we're talking about, not far off 1,000 years. Since then, the French words, phrases, and culture have identified with our culture and slowly been accepted and impacted our language. And even now, some of the laws, if you're going back, I think some of the laws are in French, would you believe? And I think it was mentioned under the David Cameron administration that going back over all laws, they were all in French. Well, 7,000 words are now used from the French in English, but it apparently was said to be 10,000 many years ago. And also Latin words as well. And here's a list of a number of common words used in English that are from the French. I'll try and, if it's a different meaning, I'll mention the meaning and the literal translation. And hopefully I shall use the right pronunciation. Some are exactly the same, so I won't bother to go into too much detail with that. So, kicking off, I'll crack on. Allowance. From the Old French, allowance, payment. Apostrophe, that's even French as well, but ends with an E. It's exactly the same as what we use here, it's exactly the same. Detach, and in French is attached. Avant-garde, don't think it's used very often. So, and I don't use it, so it's probably from the well-to-do use different, like caviar and like everything from Europe. A lot of people used to get quite excited about things from different cultures. Of course, we're changing a bit now over the last, say, 20 years or so. Aviation. It's the same word in French. Bachelor, bachelor. Baguette. Well, there we are. Very common word. Baguette, stick. Obviously, French stick. You've heard of that, most likely. Ballet. Ballet is exactly the same. Beret, the same. Bon voyage, well, good journey, quite regularly used. Certainly on the cruise ferries over to France, it would be used. And most people know that one. And Well, bureau, desk or office. Brunette, there we are, the same. Cadet, champagne, chauffeur, that'd be chauffeur. Chic, well, chic, elegant. Cliché, connoisseur. CUL-DE-SAC, well, there we are, literally bottom of the bag, dead end. Debris, well, it's broken or crumbled. Literally, meaning there. Delegate, delega. Detour, exactly the same. Dossier, elite. Energy, energy. En route, and of course en suite we use as well. Means a small bathroom within a bedroom. Envisage, envisager, that's the French equivalent. Expatriate, facade, fiancé, gallery, gallery. And gastronomy, gastronomy. So in fact, exactly the same except for the slight spelling at the end. Gâteau, very, very well known. Gazette, obviously very well known. Heritage, homage, identity, and identity as the E on the end rather than the Y. Illusion, insult, there we are. Well, insult, the noun, and insulter, verb. Irony, jubilee, kilogram. Laissez-faire, used occasionally. Liaison, or liaison. There's some people try to use the French language even in this country. Sometimes frowned upon, sometimes they're not. But of course, in multicultural areas or business, it may be used. Literature, a surprising one. Machine, magnificent. And well, laissez-faire, to leave things and let them take their course. That's what that literally means. Maisonette, there we're well known if you're renting, you just often see that. Maisonette, little house. Massage, menu, metabolism, metro, navy, navy, IE on the end, neutral, nocturnal, novel, occasion, omelette, optimism, that's optimism, papier-mâché, there we are, well known from our school days, parasol, poetic, poétique in French, premier, sorry, beg your pardon, premier in English, premier in French with an E on the end, purify is from purifier, I-E-R on the end, recipient, rendezvous, appointment, reservoir, well, reservoir, we may say reservoir if we try and speak, of course these have been anglicised over the years in some ways anyway, but certainly, you know, normally you know it's French word, but a lot of these are quite surprisingly French, and of course this is a selected example, there are others as well. There we are. So reservoir actually means literally collection or place. You know, of course we think of it as a place, a sort of a lake which holds water, which you normally visit, and of course sometimes that reservoir will meet the needs of a local town for their water needs. Ricochet, that's French. Rich, ridicule, risque, sabotage, salad, sentiment, silhouette, solicitor, and souffle, soup, technique, television. I didn't know that was French. Television, when the British invented it. Amazing. Television. I wonder what they called it when they invented it. I think it was John Logan Baird. I think he was a Scotsman. There we are. Anyway. Tournament. Uniform. Utensil. Valid. Variety. Vinaigrette. Zest. Aubergine. And par excellence, by excellent. By excellence, well, not used that often, but certainly there's a number of words there which you use in English. Well, there we are. There's others as well. Abattoir, which is actually a slaughterhouse. And there's a few others which probably used in everyday use, like restaurant. That's another one, very commonly used. And I have found out that they do use some French words in, beg your pardon, some English words in France. I think one of them might be parking, but very welcome to them. Although I don't think the purist French like using other foreign influences. They're a bit like that with buying their own goods, whereas we need to start doing that as well, buying British goods probably more to support our own economy. But there we are. That's we've always been quite international with our outlook. There we are. So that's some of the words. And well, just to say, we're on Holy Week this week. Easter's on Sunday. And next week we'll be looking at more English examples of quirkiness in our language. I do hope you enjoyed it. And I'll just say Happy Easter. And I hope if you're celebrating you enjoy it. And well, have a great afternoon. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you again next week.